Roblox is a mega game that has managed to grow over the years to numbers that people may have never expected a game that looks like this could actually grow to. But with Roblox being one of the biggest multiplayer games that fosters a community of millions of players, where did Roblox start? How did this game get from this to this? Hey guys, my name is Elijah, and today on Rocket Sloth, we are looking at the history and evolution of Roblox. Let's get into it. The development and early history of Roblox actually dates all the way back to 1989, where a company known as Knowledge Revolution was founded by David Baszucki, which would be a company that focused on an educational software with a physics engine. This technology later would be used to create what we know as Roblox. Just a few years later though, David Baszucki hired Eric Cassel, who soon would be a key member of the development of Roblox. 10 years after the beginnings of Knowledge Revolution, David Baszucki decided to sell his company to MSC Software Corporation for $20 million. Not a bad deal if you ask me. But David Baszucki decided to stay on with the company as a vice president until he and Eric Cassel decided to leave the company in 2004. Baszucki and Cassel, along with Keith Lucas, decided to begin work on a new project that would be a video game that used a dynamic game engine, and thus, Dynablox was born. This would end up being the earliest variation of what we know as now as Roblox that allowed players to both build and play games. The team soon decided to rename Dynablox to Roblox as it was easier to remember, and it was a simple combination of the word robot and blocks. And since the characters kind of look like robots, it sort of made sense here. After a 2-year alpha and beta period, Roblox had its full release in 2006. The game was pretty simple back then with goofy physics and limitations, but these original goofy games that were really simple had this charm to it that really brought in a base community that really wanted to and did support this game in its early days. 1 year after the launch of Roblox, Builders Club, Robux, and Tix were introduced to the game to help monetize features of the game while still keeping the core of the game free. They had to pay their bills, and this was a great way to make some money while keeping the game accessible to everyone and new players. I mean, honestly, would you jump onto Roblox as a kid had it had some crazy price tag on it? One of the big appeals of the game is it's free, so new players can join and players can tell their friends about the game, and they can join without having to open up their wallet. Also in 2007, Roblox introduced a safe chat feature which met a legal guideline that allowed for players of all ages to be able to play the game. It was a pretty big deal for the company. Over the next couple of years, as the Roblox community continued to grow, more and more enhancements were made to the creative side of Roblox, which allowed for creators to push the limit as to what type of games they could make. Things like clothing, events, and other world-building things like terrain were added in and modified, and coding became easier for new people to learn. In 2012, Roblox really began to make the game accessible to the largest amount of players possible when the game was released on the iOS, as players could finally play the game on their iPhone. Mind you, mobile games weren't really as big of a thing back then, so the fact that the game was cross-compatible with computers made it so that a lot of new players could try out Roblox. In 2013, co-founder Eric Cassel passed away from his battle against cancer. While his death was a huge blow to the team and the community, his dedication to Roblox and the innovative ideas he brought to the project inspired the company to go full force with growth and the expansion of Roblox in the future, while serving as a role model to the rest of the Roblox development team. In 2015, Roblox released a new smoother terrain feature to the game building community, which marks the beginning of the ongoing effort to make Roblox games generally look a lot better. In 2016, Roblox added R15, which updated the characters so that players had more limbs and were able to make the game look and feel a lot less clunky, and it was really appreciated by the fan base. Along with that, Roblox made some huge improvements in just its overall entity in the world. It now has a toy line that sells in stores, it has merchandise, and a huge community of players who just love the new games and events that Roblox has to offer. Later on, Roblox did remove ticks, which was kind of a core feature in the old original Roblox for buying and obtaining items. However, this was done in an attempt to make the game more streamlined, where players can just jump in and not get confused with all the different forms of currency. Nonetheless, rest in peace, ticks. You will be forgotten one day, but not yet. We will remember until we forget. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Even now, more enhancements are being made to Roblox. The company has begun development for VR, which is awesome, as the game can be played on the Oculus Rift, which is just a really cool concept, and it's cool to see how a game that was so simple back in the day is now being incorporated into new ways where players can experience it. And the game's now on the Xbox One, which means that even more players can now play Roblox. And that's kind of where we are today. Now there are tons of games that players can play, from mini games to role-playing games to shooters to even recreations of reality shows, and that's what is so great about Roblox. Just by jumping on the game, you're able to play so many different types of games, even if the graphics do look a little bit more childish and sometimes there's some weird glitches. At the core, there's a lot of different things that you can get your time out of when you play on Roblox. There are a ton of creators who are now able to quit their real jobs, or they have a job out of school, because they're making so much money off of the in-game purchases on the game that they made on Roblox. And that's awesome that Roblox has a community where someone who is creative enough is able to live off of their creation in a video game. That's not something that too many people can say, but it's really cool to see that people are paying for their college educations with the money that they make from the games they make in Roblox. And I think that that shows alone that there is a strong, dedicated community, and I think Roblox will be around for quite a long time still. One thing I think that is interesting is, while Roblox may have started as a kids game, those kids continued to play Roblox and continue to come back to the game even years later as they're adults now playing Roblox. In a way, it's kind of like me, who's an adult who still plays Pokemon because I grew up with it, and I think Roblox is almost going to have that same nostalgic community always around it, and that's something really cool to notice. And I think Roblox stands out in its own way, and while it's often compared to Minecraft, I think Roblox is bigger than that in a sense for what it set out to do. It's a physics engine, it's a minigame engine, it's so different from Minecraft, and I think that's awesome, and I think that's why Roblox has been so successful for all these years. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you still play Roblox? Do you miss the good old days of Roblox? Let us know in the comment section down below. Here at Rocket Sloth, the time of recording this, we're almost at 6,000 subscribers, so if you're new, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing these history type videos on a ton of different games. We cover the backstory of a lot of different titles and series and stuff and video games. So if you like video games, subscribe, because you'll make a perfect fit here. And we'll see you guys soon with a brand new video. Bye guys.